In that first half, it's the worst that you can play. And it was in all three phases, and, you know, I take full responsibility.
How do you feel about the effort of your players?
I don't question the effort of our guys.
Why not?
I know those guys. I've been with most of them 3 years, and I know them inside and out. I'm with them every single day. So this is just a really bad game in the NFL where nothing goes right, everything goes wrong, and, you know, it's the tough side of things.
Do you expect to be the coach here tomorrow?
I don't know that.
Do you think you should be?
Yes.
Why?
I know that what I've done here for 3 years, and I know what I put into this, and, you know, I know that we're capable of going. I know the type of coach that I am. I believe in myself. But again, this isn't about me. This is about a group that's hurting in there. We got to get some rest, and we got to get ready for Buffalo.
Well, the Chargers will be getting ready for the Bills, but Brandon Staley, that is not the case. That was just hours after the game, but here we are on a Friday. He has been fired as the head coach there when it comes to him. Also, not alone, the general manager, Tom Telesco, also shown the door when it comes to the Chargers. The move comes just hours after that 63-21 loss against the Raiders. They are now 5-9 and dead last in the AFC West. Of course, he finishes up his career there 24-24 as the head coach of the Chargers. Want to bring in lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones with more on this. And JJ, this we thought, or at least he thought he was going to be the head coach here on a Friday morning. Your reaction to that news just moments ago.
And not surprising the way that this season wound up for the Los Angeles Chargers. Certainly not surprising after last night, Brandon. I'd been told a couple of weeks ago that actually they were not interested in firing the head coach during the season. It was something that the Los Angeles Chargers really hadn't done with Dean Spanos there as owner. However, losing the way that they did to a division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders, with an interim coach, it was by margin of defeat, Brandon, the largest loss to an interim head coach in modern NFL history. Not since World War II has a team lost to an interim coach by more than 41 points until last night. And so with the Chargers team, you know, Justin Herbert's season is over, of course, with that broken finger and surgery on that. Brandon Staley, 3+ years and so many memorable collapses and defeats. Let's look right there, right? 2021, when you absolutely have to play for the tie in order at that point to win to make it to the playoffs. Oh, a tie is a win there. And then, of course, last year, the loss to Jacksonville, but the hope and belief that they were going to get it figured out in 2023, and then the disappointment that has been throughout this season. It was going to be impossible for Brandon Staley truly to survive this season after last night. And so at that point, with the incredible embarrassment of the loss, Dean Spanos, the owner there, deciding to make the move both on the head coach and the general manager, Tom Telesco.
When it comes to Spanos, you just touched on it there. A surprising move for a lot of us here to get it done at week 15 for the Chargers, that is. Of course, games on Sunday. Where do they go from here? Because now you got to find somebody to go along with your franchise quarterback. You got to fix the defensive problems that we see. You just mentioned, of course, the 63 points. We haven't seen that against an opposing team like the Raiders. Where do they start to trickle and find that next guy or something that might fit the bill for them?
Well, they went defense with Brandon Staley, former defensive coordinator, and so one would imagine that they are going to try the other side of the football and try offense. I mean, that's typically how these go. You go from one side, then you go to the other side, or, as I've been talking about for a long time now, a leader of men sort of head coach, someone, you know, Dan Campbell model, right? And those Dan Campbells aren't falling off trees necessarily. So I don't want to say that a defensive coach would not get this job, but certainly with Justin Herbert under contract, maximizing his talents would seem like the route that Dean Spanos and that group would want to go. I will say that Chargers ownership very active at this past week's league meetings, where there was a front office accelerator program for potential general managers, potential future general managers. So they were able to do a little homework, get some groundwork already established for the future of this team. And so I think that this is a group that would very likely hire the general manager first. They would be able to interview folks as soon as the regular season ends. And then, of course, they would not be able to bring in any sort of head coach candidate for in-person interviews until after the divisional round of the playoffs in late January.
I'm curious, JJ, I want to ask you, how attractive is his job? We know about the LA portion of it, but you would be in the AFC West and you have to deal with that guy that's usually at the top, Patrick Mahomes. You know, how attractive will this be for possible candidates down the line?
Yeah, every job has some sort of attraction and some sort of detraction, right, if you will. And so you're going to have to deal with Patrick Mahomes twice a year. You may be competing for a wild card spot every single year, but then also any head coach or general manager candidate is going to welcome that sort of competition. On the plus side, you have Justin Herbert, who you very likely will be believing in. You have all of your draft picks, not a whole bunch of draft picks, but you have all of your own draft picks for this upcoming year. And you are in Southern California. New team facilities are coming out. You have a patient ownership group, if not one that spends a lot of money, not on players. They certainly do that, but maybe on other parts of the organization, maybe in salary and whatnot. So I think that it is an attractive job. Now we have 2 other openings, at least technically vacated, in Las Vegas and in Carolina. We are anticipating more, potentially in a Washington, potentially in a Chicago, potentially in New England, right? There's could be some more as dominoes continue to fall as these games have to be played. So we're looking at somewhere, as I've been reporting, 6 to 8 head coach openings, and now we have the 3rd in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
Yeah, we're almost halfway there to your prediction, so we'll see how that pans out the rest of the way here. Jonathan Jones, as always, on that breaking news. Appreciate it. They were Brandon Staley, no longer the head coach of the Chargers. We talked about their front office, of course. The Spanos releasing this statement here on X saying, "I want to thank Tom and Brandon for their hard work, dedication and professionalism. Wish both of them and their great families nothing but the best. We continue saying these decisions are never easy, nor are they something I take lightly, especially when you consider the number of people they impact. We're clearly not where we expect to be, however, and we need new vision." Going on saying, "Do nothing in the name of the continuity there was not at a risk I was willing to take. Our fans have stood strong through so many ups and downs and close games. They deserve more. Frankly, they've earned more. Building and maintaining a championship caliber program remains our ultimate goal, and reimagining how we achieve that goal begins today." So, of course, we'll see now Brandon Staley, no longer the head coach, Tom Telesco, no longer the GM. After the break here in HQ, our Pete Prisco will chime in on this latest news, looking for that HC out in LA.